Hi Stampers, it's Nancy Novak from stampandshout.com, and I hope you're ready to make a spooky fun card today. This is the card that I thought we would make, and it's from the holiday catalog. So this is going to be live for all customers on September 1st, so I'm really excited about that. And we're going to use the Jar of Haunts stamp set, which coordinates with the Everyday Jars framelits or thinlits. So if you want, you can cut the jars out using this little jar piece right here. But I fussy cut them, so I'll show you how I did all that in a second. I'm also using a stamp set called Timeless Textures, and that's from the annual catalog. And I love this stamp set because I use it for background. So I did all this background with the Timeless Textures, and I'll show you how I did that. I also used Spooky Fun, which is also in the holiday catalog. I used the spider web and the spider. So let's get started. First thing is I used the basic gray for the card base, and that is cut at 5.5 by 8.5, and I scored it at 4 1/4. I have a black mat that's 5 1/4 by 4 inches, and a very vanilla piece that's 5 inches by 3 3/4, and I also have a scrap piece of watercolor paper. So the first thing we're going to do is to stamp our images on the watercolor paper. And I'm using the watercolor paper because I'm also going to use my aqua painter later to fill in some of the colors. So I'm going to use the mummy stamp, and I'm using the black archival ink. So we're going to stamp our images. Isn't he cute? Yes, 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 yes. And then I'm going to stamp the plain jar in the black archival ink. So let's stamp him, or stamp it. And then what we're going to do on the jar is we're going to stamp the spooky, icky eyeballs. So we'll take and we'll stamp that right in the middle. There we go. Woo! Cool, huh? All right, and the last thing I'm going to stamp is I'm going to bring in my pumpkin pie, and I'm going to stamp my pumpkin in pumpkin pie. And there's some scary eyes that go along with it. So I'm going to stamp those eyes on the pumpkin. And also there's a little image for the leaf on the pumpkin. So I'm going to stamp that in the black. Whoops, I'll stamp it again. There we go. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is cut out all of these pieces. And like I said, you can use the jar framelit for the jars, and then you have to fussy cut the other pieces, which I already have done. So let me bring those pieces in like that. And then we're going to bring in our aqua painter, and we're going to color in these pieces. I think I will lay down a piece of scrap, and we'll fill in these pieces. So let's color in the pumpkin. So what I like to do when I use my aqua painter is I like to take one of my pads, my acrylic blocks, and I like to get some ink right on the corner there. And then I bring in my aqua painter and just pick up some of that color. And I always dab it first because I don't want it to be really dark to start with. And then we're just going to color in the pumpkin. You can always make it darker. It's fun. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm having a really good time with this holiday catalog and showing some sneak peeks or getting them ready. But actually, September 1st is right around the corner, so you guys can order all this stuff yourself if you haven't gotten it already. You're going to love it. If you need anything, make sure to stop by my blog. Whenever I post a video or post a card, I always list the supplies down at the bottom of my posting, and you can always click on them and they'll take you right to my store. Okay, so he's done. Let's see what else. We'll finish this up. So I'm going to take my aqua painter and just get rid of some of that orange pumpkin pie color, and I'll bring in some chocolate chip and do the little stem of the pumpkin. And then I have some, let's see, cucumber crush. You can use whatever color green you like. And I'll color in the leaf. You feel like such an artist when you use your aqua painters. Okay, so that piece is done. And let's see, the eyes. Oh, that was fun. I used crushed curry. So again, you want to get rid of that previous color that you used. And I found that when you do the eyes, if you use a lighter color like the yellow, it kind of shows up better than if you use like a dark green or a dark blue, because you have that dark black spot in there, so this the lighter color shows up a little bit better. Whoever designed this, I thought it was really cool. It's a really fun stamp. So you got to check out the jar of haunts. There's a lot of, look at, you've got the candy corn, you got a happy face, you got this goop, there's a little spider, and a spooky treat for you. Happy Halloween. Isn't that font pretty? So there's a lot of nice pieces that go with this stamp set. And if you've got the everyday jars or the jar of love, you probably want to get this. Get your most for your money. Okay, let's do the water. So again, I'm just going to start off lightly, coloring in. Mint macaron looks good with the eyes and the water too. It's another option. Okay, so that piece is done. Whoops! And then the next thing I did for the mummy was I used the red marker, real red, and then I just colored in some spots here and there. Kind of makes it look spooky. Okay, next thing we're going to do is timeless textures. So I'm going to bring in my very vanilla piece, and I'm going to use my black archival ink again. So I picked a couple of random stamps from this set and just stamped them here and there. So let's see what I got. I've got one piece that looks like wood, so I'm going to put that at the bottom to make it look like a little shelf that these jars are sitting on. Now really, this is really important. You want to stamp off when you're doing this Timeless Textures on this card because you don't want it real dark. So I just stamped off. And filled in the bottom with that piece. And then I took another piece, it's very similar but just slightly different. It's got some bumpy edges to it. And this one I went crazy with. Let's stamp it. And then stamp off and start going all over your card with this one. See why you have to stamp off? It's still kind of dark. So that's what I did there. And then I also cleaned off that same stamp and added a little bit of real red. And you know why I did that, right? Give it a little bit more scariness. Okay, so I brought in my real red. And I just dabbed it here and there. I did not put the whole stamp on because I didn't want a big area. Ooh, that's pretty cool, of the red. So I just kind of did it here and there. And then I brought this guy in and I put a little bit of the red on him. Just kind of touched it. I'm not using the whole stamp, just kind of putting some smear on there. Okay, it's all done except for putting it together. I want to take that black archival ink and stamp my sentiment. So I'll kind of lay these down where I think they're going to go, and I think I'll stamp my sentiment. I'll put it right here. And I did that with the black archival ink, and you want to use it full. You don't want to stamp off for that because you want it to show up. Did that was I adhered my jar pieces and my pumpkin. So let's see, I'll put him right there. I think I'll put this one right there. Pumpkin there. I kind of put this behind the pumpkin. Okay, so now let's bring in the spider web. I did the spider web full ink with the black archival ink. You want it to show up. So I'm going to put one right there. Ah, isn't that cool? It really comes together, doesn't it? Isn't the Timeless Textures cool? The way it just puts all that eerie look. I mean, you can do very beautiful cards with the Timeless Textures, but it's really a nice stamp set if you don't have a lot of embossing folders or you want to give your card that extra oomph. So I use it a lot. I really like it. What do you think? Pretty good? Okay, let's do a spider. So here's the little teeny tiny spider from a web. There, and right there, and right here. Okay, now we can put it together. So let's see. I'll adhere this to the black. See what I'm doing? And adhere this to our card base. And that is about it. So don't forget a couple pointers. Thoughtful branches will be available till August 31st. So if you want that card or that stamp set, make sure you get it before August 31st. We're all hoping that they carry it out through the end of the year, but I don't know what Stampin' Up's going to do. So just, if you want to get it, you better buy it now. And again, this is the Jar of Haunts stamp set. So a lot of fun. Here's my original card. So there we go. Hope you liked my video. Visit my blog and sign up for my newsletter, and visit me on Pinterest or wherever else. You'll see a lot of card ideas out there. And leave me any comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye.